Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I realized that this summer I haven't shared a lot of crochet summer tops, so this is what we are going to do today. And today I will basically teach you how to make this top that I'm wearing. And as always, I have made sure that this tutorial is going to be as beginner friendly as possible, so I'm going into as much detail as I can with every single step and every single stitch. But if you feel like I'm going too fast or too slow, then just feel free to adjust the speed of the video. And also, if you're interested, I have prepared a written version of this pattern, which is linked down below and available for purchase on my Etsy store. So of course your support will be super appreciated. But now let's jump into it. Here are the materials that I will be using. Here I have 100 grams or 2 skeins of 4-ply cotton yarn, and just in case if you're wondering, here are some more specs about this specific brand that I'm using. And of course, besides that, you would also need a crochet hook. For this project I will be using 3mm hook, and you will also need scissors, as well as it might be handy to have some stitch markers. But now let's get started. So first we will be starting by making the cups, and for that our first step is to just grab our yarn and we will be creating a slip knot. So for that you basically just have to grab your yarn like this and then twist this loop, grab yarn and pull it through the loop to kind of create a knot like this, and then we can grab our crochet hook and just go through this loop and adjust the size of it so it actually fits this hook that we are using. And then our next step is to do 16 chains. So for that you just have to grab yarn and pull it through the loop that you have on your hook like that. So this is one chain, and then just keep on repeating this for 16 times in total. And here I have my 16 chains, so now we can continue with the first row. And before we can start do that, we just have to skip the last 3 chains that we did. So 1, 2 and 3, and then in this fourth one, this is where we are going to place our first stitch, and these 3 chains that we are skipping, it will also count as a stitch, which in this case is going to be double crochet. So we're starting with double crochets now, and for that you just have to yarn over, then go through this chain or stitch later on, then grab yarn and pull it through to have 3 loops on your hook, then yarn over and pull through the first 2, then yarn over again and pull through remaining 2 like this. So this is one double crochet. Let's do it again together. So yarning over, going through this chain, grabbing yarn and pulling it through to have 3 loops, yarning over and pulling through 2, yarning over again and pulling through 2 like this. So now we are just continuing with doing double crochets until we have reached this end here, and then I will meet you back again once we are here at this very last chain that we have here. Otherwise, just continue with doing double crochets inside every single chain and do just one inside each of them. And so here I have got until this last chain here, and in the last one we are actually going to do multiple stitches. So in the beginning we have to do 3 double crochets inside here, so I'm just proceeding with that. So here I'm just working on the first one, then also adding the second one, and then once that's done we also have to add the third one. So again, just going through the same space like this. So now we have kind of halfway turned our way, and then once that's done we just have to chain 1 like this, and then again in the same space we are adding 3 more double crochets. So I'm just adding the first one, then the second one, and then finally also the third one like this. So now, as you can see, we have turned our way on this side, and we are still kind of like working on this first row, but now we are going to work inside the back of these chains here on this side. So basically it's the same process as before. We are just adding 1 double crochet inside the back of this chain, or you can literally just check wherever you have done double crochet. You just also have to do another double crochet on the other side. So basically just go through all of these chains or other side of these chains and just add 1 double crochet inside each of them. And here I have reached the end. At the end we just also have to remember to put 1 double crochet here on this kind of like bottom of the 3 chains that we skipped in the very beginning. So I'm just adding a double crochet in there like this. So now we have actually completed this first row, and if you want to double check, you can count the stitches that you have. So on each side we have to have an equal amount, which would be 13 double crochets here, and then in this top part we have to have 3 double crochets, chain 1 and 3 double crochets like that. So now this first row is completed and we can proceed further with the second one. And for that, to get started, we first just have to chain 2. So 1 and 2, and this chain of 2 is not going to count as a stitch. And then once that's done, we can just turn or work and proceed working on the stitches on this side. So the process is going to be quite similar. We just have to place 1 double crochet inside every single stitch that we have. So here I'm just starting to work on the very first stitches and just putting 1 double crochet inside each of them, and I will be doing that until I reach this point where I have this 1 chain basically. So just continue adding double crochets until you are at this chain 1 space, which is at the very tip. And so here I have made it to the chain 1 space. So inside this chain 1 space we are going to do 2 double crochets, chain 1 and again 2 double crochets. So here's the first one, and then I'm just adding the second one like this. After that, chaining 1 and adding 2 more double crochets inside this same space. And actually from now on, whenever we will reach this point, we will always add 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets. So this is how it looks. And then after that, we are again just proceeding with doing 1 double crochet inside every stitch that we have, and we are going to do that until we reach the other end of this row. So until we are here, and here we just have to remember to also place a stitch here inside this these 3 chains that we have. So just continue with doing that, and I will meet you again at the very end. And here I am at the end, so also placing a stitch inside this third chain that we have. And actually from now on we will always be placing stitches inside the stitches. So otherwise, if you're kind of feeling confused, it's always useful to use some stitch markers just to kind of mark where you have to add stitches, especially in the end of these rows. But now this second row is completed and we can proceed further with the third one. So from now on we would basically also just have to keep on repeating this second row for as long as it's needed to create the size that you're going for. But just to remind, to get started, you just have to chain 2, which doesn't count as a stitch, then turn your work and proceed with adding 1 double crochet inside every single stitch, and then keep on doing that until you reach this chain 1 space, and inside there just add 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets. But otherwise just keep on adding extra rounds, and the amount of rounds that are needed to be done basically depends on your size. So if you're going for a cup size A, you would have to add around 6 rounds in total. If you're creating cup size B, it would be 8, and C would be 10. So basically just keep on increasing by 2 rows to add or to go a size up. In my case, in total, I will be doing 10 rows, but I would also advise to try it on as you go to see how it fits. And then once you have completed the very last stitch of the last round, as I have here, we can fasten off, and for that you just have to chain 1, then make this loop a little bit longer, and then just grab your scissors and cut off yarn like this. And as it's cut off, we can just tighten it by pulling this loose end like that. So now we have completed this 1 cup, and what you have to do now is basically to replicate this to create another one which is exactly the same as this one. And here I have also completed the other cup, and in this case I'm not cutting off yarn, so this is just how it looks once I have both of them side by side. So now the next step would actually be that we would continue with adding the border here around this cup like this. Then we would go underneath here to also add some sort of border here at the bottom, And then after that we would continue with adding kind of like chains here, which would be connecting both of these cups together, and these chains would be in the back side. And then after that we would continue with adding a border here at the bottom of this other cup, and then we would also go around here like this. So this is what we are going to proceed with now. So let's continue with this cup that we just finished, and as I said, we shouldn't cut off yarn here, but if you did, then just reattach it. And now we are continuing with this border around this cup. So to get started, we are again just chaining 2, 1 and 2 like this. These 2 chains don't count as a stitch, so we can just continue or without taking them into consideration. And the type of border that we will be creating is basically a mesh border. So for that, we are just going to place 1 double crochet, then chain 1, skip 1 and 1 double crochet again. So this is 1 double crochet, then chaining 1, skipping 1, and then in the following stitch we are just placing a double crochet like this. So in this case we are just creating kind of like gaps in between. So this is 1, then again chaining 1, skipping 1 and placing a double crochet in the next one, and just repeating this process again and so forth. So this is how it looks once I have created 3 of these gaps. And now I'm just proceeding and continuing with that until I reach this point where I'm going to meet you back again. So just keep on doing this. And so this is how it looks so far. And now I have reached this chain 1 space, and in there, before we get there, we are again just chaining 1, so skipping this one, and then in this space we are again just doing 1 double crochet like this, and then again chaining 1, and then in the same space again adding another double crochet. So this is basically just helping us to turn to the other side, where we are also adding a space in here. And then once that's done, we are again chaining 1, then skipping 1, and in the next one adding another double crochet. So pretty much the same thing. And once you reach the other side, just continue with doing the same thing with chaining 1, skipping 1 and adding double crochets. And so this is how it looks so far, and here I'm just completing the very last block. So again skipping 1 and then adding a double crochet here in the very last stitch like this. So now this border is completed all around, and now we can proceed with adding a border here at the bottom. And for that we are just kind of turning our work a little bit, and we will be doing single crochets here at the very bottom, and we will try to add 1 to 2 single crochets on top of every single row that we have. So to get started, first I'm just chaining 1, and then I will be adding 1 single crochet in here, and then 1 in between the rows, then again 1 on top of the row, and again in between the rows. So to get started with single crochet, you just have to go through this space, then grab yarn and pull it up to have 2 loops, then yarn over and pull through both like this. So this is 1 single crochet, and then the next one is going to be placed in between the rows in this space. So I'm just going through and adding a single crochet in there like this. And then after that we are just proceeding with again adding 1 on top of this row that we have here, and then again 1 in between the rows. And we just have to keep on doing this until we have covered this whole bottom part of this cup. So just keep on doing this, and then I will meet you at the end once you have reached this point here. And so now this bottom part is completed, and now what we want to do is that we just want to do some chains, which would be coming here, and then we would be connecting this other cup together with this one. And basically for my size, which is around size small, I will be doing approximately 70 chains. And to go a size up or down, you would basically have to increase or decrease by 5 chains approximately. So for myself, for size small, I will be doing 70 chains in total, but as I said, you can easily just measure it and try it on as you go to see how many chains are needed for yourself. But I can also say that it's better to have a little bit more chains rather than not enough, because later on we will be creating a strap anyways, which will help to support this top in this part around the bust. And now here I have done all 70 chains for my size. So now we can proceed with connecting these chains together with this other cup, and we will be doing that here exactly in the corner. So to do that, we basically just have to do a slip stitch. And for that, I'm just having my loop here with the chains that I just finished, and we just have to go through the first place or first stitch here on this side. So I'm just trying to do this in the very corner of this cup, and then I'm just grabbing yarn, pulling it through, and then pulling this loop through the loop that I already had on my hook, like this. So now this is connected, and we can proceed with adding a border here at the very bottom in the same way as we did here at the bottom of this cup. So what we are doing is that we are just adding one single crochet on top of every single row that we have, and also one single crochet in between the rows. And now here I have reached this end, so now we can proceed further with adding a border here around. And again, to start doing that, the process is the same. First we are just chaining 2, so 1 and 2, and these 2 chains don't count as a stitch. And then we are just placing 1 double crochet in the very first stitch. So I'm just going through here and adding a double crochet, and then chaining 1, skipping 1, and doing double crochet in the next stitch, and just going all the way around by adding these stitches like that. And then in the very tip, we just had to do 1 double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet in the same space. So just do that until you have gone all the way around here, and this is where I'm going to meet you back again. And so here I have gone all the way around, and I have reached this point where we are actually at the bottom, and where we are also meeting this strap that we will have in the back. And now we would like to just complete the final block. And actually for that, here I have already completed my last double crochet. So now I just have to chain 1 and then skip 1, which would be this stitch here. And then to connect it smoothly, we will actually be doing that here to this strap in the back. And for that, we will just do a slip stitch here inside this second chain. And since I have this chain 1 already done, I'm just going through this second chain in here and doing a slip stitch. So just grabbing yarn and pulling it through, and then pulling it through the loop that I already had on my hook, like this. So in this way, we are kind of establishing this another block basically, and connecting it to the bottom of this strap, and then we can fasten off. So just chaining 1, making this loop a little bit longer, then grabbing our scissors, cutting off, and as it's cut off, we can just tighten in a secure knot like this. So this is how it looks once we have finalized this border and also connected it to the back of this strap. And then once this is done, you can just try it on just to double check that it fits as it should, and the strap in the back is stretching long enough so the cups in the front are actually meeting each other. And now that both of these cups are connected together, we will proceed further with adding also an extra row of this border with gaps here at the very bottom. And after that, we will actually be able to proceed further with adding like length of this body. But first, let's get started with adding this extra border at the bottom. And for that, we again just have to attach our yarn. So here I'm just going through a stitch in the very corner like this. So this is one of the single crochets that we just did, like that. And then I'm just grabbing this yarn and pulling it through like this, and then just attaching it by making a secure knot like that. And then we can proceed with adding the border with the gaps also here at the bottom, which will be here at the bottom of these cups, as well as here throughout these chains that we have for the back side. So to get started, we just again have to pull up a loop. So I'm just pulling it through the place where we just attached the yarn like this, and we are starting with 2 chains, 1 and 2, which doesn't count as a stitch. And then we are just placing another double crochet here inside the same space where we just started. So here I'm just finalizing it like this, and then again chaining 1, skipping 1 single crochet, and then in the next one again adding a double crochet. like that. So here we have created this first gap, and then we are just repeating these stitches further along the way. So this is how it looks once I have created a few of them. So now we are just continuing with that, and I will meet you back again once we have reached these chains, which are connecting these both cups together. And here now I have added these stitches and gaps at the bottom, and now I have also reached these chains here. So we just basically have to continue with the same process. It's just now that instead of adding these double crochets inside stitches, we will be doing the same thing inside the chains. So here I have completed double crochet and chain one, so we have to skip one here, and then in the following first chain actually that we have here, I'm adding one double crochet. So just going through there and adding a double crochet stitch in there like this. And this is how it looks once I have created one of them, and now we just have to keep on continuing the same process. So here I'm just adding in another one. So this is how it looks. So just keep on doing this, and while doing this, just also make sure that these chains that you have here, that they are not twisted, just to make sure that this strap in the back, that it is straightened and it wouldn't appear twisted in any point. And now this part with the chains is completed. So now again we are just doing the same thing here on the bottom of the other cup. So now that this bottom border is added all around, we can proceed further, and the next step would be to keep on adding length for this body part, which will be done here at the bottom of these cups as well as at the bottom of this strap in the back. So to get started, we first just have to chain one like this, and then we can turn our work, and this chain of one is not going to count as a stitch. And basically for this part we will just be doing a diamond stitch. And now the next step is to just do a single crochet here inside this first stitch. So I'm just doing that like this, and now that this is done, we just have to chain 7. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7 like this. So this is our chain of 7, and then the next step is to do another single crochet, and we are basically just skipping 2 of these blocks, and then on top of this stitch after the second block we are just adding another single crochet just to attach it like this. So this is how it looks. And now that this is done, we just have to chain 7 again. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7, and then again we are just skipping 2 blocks, so 1 and 2, and then in this stitch we are again just doing 1 single crochet. So I'm just going through there and doing that. So these steps are very easy for the first row, and you just have to keep on repeating this. So let's do one more together. So 3 4 5 6 and 7, skipping 2 and adding single crochet on top of the following stitch like this. So this is how it looks so far, and now I will just keep on doing this here at the bottom of this cup, then also at the bottom of this strap in the back, and then also the bottom of the other cup. So just do that all the way through here, and I will meet you at the end of this first row here at the end of this cup. And here I am almost at the very end. It's just left for me to do 7 chains and then to do a single crochet here in the very last stitch, which is kind of like a perfect finish. But let's say that you only had 1 block left and your last stitch was this one. So in that case you would actually have to chain half. So in this case it would be 4 chains like this, and then in here in the last stitch you would have to do 1 double crochet. So I'm just going through there and placing it in here like this. So in this case you would basically create half of this round thingy that we did all the way through. And then to get started with a new row you would have to chain 7 again. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, then you would turn your work and add the first single crochet here in the next loop that we have like this. And then at the end of this row, once you would get here, you would have to place your single crochet here in the middle chain from this part. I hope this kind of makes sense. I will try to create some sort of graph also in the written pattern, but for now let's just finish it with what we have here in my case. So the perfect finish, I'm just doing 7 chains, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7, like this, and then just adding 1 single crochet here inside the last stitch that we have, like this. So now this first row is finalized and we can proceed further with the next one, and for that we just have to flip our work like this, and then again we just have to chain 7, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7, like that, and then we are just placing our first single crochet here in this loop. So I'm just going through there like this, and then again chaining 7 and placing the single crochet inside the next loop like this. And this is how it looks once I have done few of them. So now I'm just continuing until the very end. And now here I am at the end of this second row, so we just have to place a stitch here, and I'm going to do that here in the very middle of this chain of 7. So I'm just going through the middle chain and placing a single crochet in there like this. So now this second row is finalized and we can proceed further with the third row, and for that again we just have to chain 7, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7, and then we are just turning our work and right away placing a single crochet here inside this first loop like this. And then again the process is pretty much the same. We just have to chain 7 like that and continue further with this next loop like this. So here I have started the third row, and basically from now on the whole thing is very repetitive, so you just have to keep on adding new rows of these chains, and this is your diamond stitch and the way how you can establish it. And in total, depending on the length that you are going for, you would have to create approximately 20 to 25 rows, but of course that is totally up to you how long you want this part to be, so just feel free to try it on as you go and just decide on your own how long you want this part to be. But I will be going for something in between 20 to 25 rows, so just keep on doing this and I will meet you back again once I have finalized this part. And now here I am done with adding rows for this length, and in total I ended up doing 23 rows. And of course also for this part you can just easily try it on to see if this length fits you, and if not you can do more or less. And here I am at the end of this last row that I just did, so we can fasten off, and for that again just chaining 1, making this loop a little bit longer, then grabbing our scissors, cutting off and tightening in a secure knot like this. So now basically the main part of this top is finalized and we can move further with adding straps, and we will be doing that here at the top of these cups, as well as we will add one strap that will go here all the way around. And then I will also show you how to add kind of like a smaller strap in here. So now let's get started with adding straps first for these cups here. And to get started here, I have measured 5 pieces of yarn where each of them is approximately 1.5 meters long, which is around 60 inches. So here I have just placed all of these ends starting at the same point. And now what we can do is to actually loop all of these 5 yarn pieces through the top part here of this cup. So here I'm just going through with my crochet hook so it can help me, and then grabbing all these yarn pieces and pulling them through like this. And now that this is done, we can just pull them even further and place all of these ends like next to each other. So in total we are basically getting now 10 strings because we are just folding these 5 in half like this. So we just have to make sure that they are stretched out evenly and that all the ends are in the same position. And then once that's done, we just have to braid all of these ends together. So here I'm just placing a dumbbell to make sure that it's secure. And now we can divide. So here I have 3, 4, and 3. And now we can just continue with making a braid from these 3 parts. So literally just braid away until you have reached the end. And here I have now finalized this braid and I have got to the very end. So basically here we can finish it off just by making a secure knot. So I'm just doing that. And then I'm just tightening to make sure that it's not going to untie like this. So now this one braid is finalized and you basically just have to do the same thing also here on the other side. And then once these 2 straps are finalized, we can proceed further with creating a strap that would go here underneath the bust. And for that, the process is pretty much the same. And in this case, I have here measured 9 pieces of yarn where each of them are around 2 meters long or basically 80 inches. And here I tried to place all the ends in the same position and then just made a knot. And again, once that's done, we can just start braiding away, starting from here, and we just have to divide in 3, 3, and 3. And then again, just creating a braid until we reach the other end. And so now this strap here is done. So what we can do is that we can actually loop it through where it's supposed to be. So here I'm just taking this top and we will do that here starting from this point. So I'm just grabbing this strap and literally just looping it through one of the blocks from the back side and then through the next block from the front side like this, and just going through like this until we have looped it through all the blocks that we have here underneath the cups, and then just following further here. And now this strap is looped all the way through, and this is how it looks. And now as last, if you wish, you can also add kind of like a tiny strap here where you could tie together these 2 cups so it doesn't look that open. And for that here I just prepared a braid which is approximately 60 centimeters long, so around 24 inches. And later on when wearing this top, you can basically just loop it through one side and then do the same thing also on the other side, and then just tie it together in a bow. But that's totally up to you if you want to do it or not. But otherwise, now we kind of have this top finalized. So what we can do is we can just weave in all the loose ends that we might have. So for example, here I have 2 of them, and for that I normally just use my crochet hook and just go through like random stitches or chains and just grab these loose ends and weave them through them so they are not hanging and everything looks smooth. So you can just do that with all the loose ends that you might have. And also, if you wish, you can cut the ends of these straps so they appear in an equal length. So here I just place both of these together, and now I'm just grabbing my scissors and cutting off these ends like this. So now they will appear a little bit smoother once this top is being worn like this. So feel free to do that with all the straps that you have. And now this top is finalized, and this is how it looks on me once I'm wearing it. I'm super happy with how it turned out, and I feel like this is a perfect project for summer and also a perfect top if you're going to a beach or simply want to enjoy a hot summer day in a super cute top. So that was basically it from me today. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that this tutorial is going to be useful for you in case you are planning to recreate this top. And if you do recreate it, then feel free to share it with me. I would be super excited to see what you are creating. And also feel free to experiment with this pattern, adjust some stitches, mix some stitches in. Also feel free to use different colors or mix and match them together. It's totally up to you. And also feel free to adjust the size if if it's needed. But if you have any questions or need any help, then just feel free to reach out down below in the comment section and I will try to help you from there. And if you did enjoy this video, then please give me a big thumbs up, and if you're new here, then please subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye!